Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something really critical. It's the Mediterranean marine heat wave happening right now, June, July 2025. Our mission, like always, is to give you that quick path to being properly informed. We've gone through the articles, the research, our notes, and we're pulling out the key bits for you. Because, this isn't just about warm water. It's hitting ecosystems, economies, and it's even making extreme weather worse. Okay, so let's get into it. Usually when we think heat wave, it's land, right? Scorching sidewalks. But the Med Sea right now, it's something else. Breaking records. What kind of scale are we talking about here? What are the current numbers?
It's honestly quite startling. The overall average sea surface temperature right across the Mediterranean, it's sitting around 26 degrees Celsius.
26 C.
Yeah, and to give that context, that's almost 3 degrees Celsius above the normal average for this time of year.
3 degrees above average. Wow.
Exactly. It makes this the absolute warmest June we have on record, but it gets even more intense in specific spots. The Western Mediterranean basin, think around the Balearic Islands, the Tyrrhenian sea temperatures are like 5 to 6 degrees Celsius warmer than usual.
Wait, 5 to 6 degrees, that's huge.
It really is. In the Tyrrhenian Sea, we're seeing absolute temperatures. Well, they're hitting nearly 29 degrees Celsius in places.
Almost 29 degrees.
And the satellite images, they're showing these big dark red areas. That's their shorthand for spots over 5 degrees above the seasonal average. It basically means the marine life there is stuck in conditions way outside what they can normally tolerate. A deadly hot tub, really.
That's a scary visual. And is this expected to ease up soon?
Unfortunately, no. The projections show it persisting, possibly even intensifying through the beginning of July.
Okay, wow. Nearly 29 degrees. That's quite something.
Yeah.
So what's the immediate cause? What's driving this specific event beyond just, the general warming trend?
Well, the main driver right now is this massive, persistent atmospheric heat dome.
A heat dome?
Yeah, think of it like a giant high-pressure system just sitting there. It acts like a lid on a pot, trapping warm air, which then heats the sea surface underneath.
Right, like a lid.
And what's really interesting, or maybe worrying, is how the Med's own geography contributes. It's semi-enclosed, you see, so water doesn't exchange easily with the Atlantic. That helps trap the heat even more.
Ah, okay. So the geography makes it worse.
Definitely contributes. And this isn't entirely out of the blue. I mean, the context is important. If you look back at just 2023 and 2024, those summers had almost 3.5 times more marine heat wave days than any other year we've tracked.
3.5 times.
Yeah. And August 2024 actually set the previous Mediterranean record, hitting 28.9 degrees Celsius. So it really connects to that bigger picture. The Mediterranean is warming faster than the global average ocean temperature. It's kind of like a hotspot for climate change impacts.
A hotspot, or like you said earlier, maybe a canary in the coal mine for the oceans globally.
That's a good way to put it.
So, okay, these temperatures are extreme, the causes are clearer, but what does it all mean? For the region, for people, for us? What are the actual consequences we're seeing?
The consequences are, well, they're profound. They ripple outwards. Ecologically, it's devastating. We're seeing mass die-offs of marine species. Just as one example, back in late July 2024, there was this heat wave in Tuscany, in the Orbitello Lagoon. Water temps hit 35 degrees Celsius.
35 degrees in the water.
Yes, and it suffocated nearly 200 tons of fish. Just gone.
Unbelievable.
And then there's coral. Degradation is severe. After the big 2022 heat wave, something like 80% of coral populations studied were left really fragile. We're talking about species like red gorgonian, red coral, iconic stuff. They've lost maybe 80 to 93% of their biomass since 2003 in some areas. There's a real risk of what scientists call functional extinction for the shallow water population.
Functional extinction, meaning they're still there, but just not enough to matter ecologically.
Exactly. They can't perform their role in the ecosystem anymore. It's a huge loss.
That's
That's
devastating.
And beyond the direct ecological hit, how does this affect people, the economies there?
Well, it hits coastal communities hard, right, in their livelihoods. Fisheries, aquaculture, they face huge risks. There are projections of potential annual losses in the fishery sector reaching billions of euros, like 4.7 billion annually. And an overall drop in fish biomass, maybe 6% average. but up to 35% in really important areas like the Adriatic and Aegean seas. And it's not just fishing. Tourism gets hit too. You have these extreme land temperatures, over 40 degrees, high humidity. It changes how tourists behave. They might spend less, shorten trips, or even cancel. It disrupts that whole economy.
So ecosystems, fisheries, tourism,
Right.
it really connects. And this raises a question for me, the weather. Does this warmer water fuel like more intense storms for people living nearby?
Oh, absolutely. It's a direct link. Higher sea temperatures mean more moisture evaporating into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And more heat means more convective energy. That's basically the fuel, the upward motion, the power of strong thunderstorms.
Right, more fuel for storms. Exactly. So the warmer the water, the greater the potential for really extreme torrential rainfall. We saw a terrible example of this in Valencia, Spain, late in 2024. That deadly flooding claimed over 200 lives, caused nearly 4 billion euros in damage. These marine heat waves, they're essentially acting like steroids for these extreme weather events.
Steroids for storms.
Yeah.
That's a powerful image. Okay, this paints a really stark picture. The need for action seems urgent. It's not just about tracking what's happening, but what can actually be done. Are there any, I don't know, glimmers of hope or practical steps?
Yeah, it's a massive challenge, but there are things happening. Obviously, global emission cuts are crucial, the big picture fix, but regionally, adaptation strategies are becoming so important. And one area with real progress is forecasting. We're seeing advancements in AI-powered models that can predict these marine heat waves several days out.
AI forecasting them, how accurate is that?
Pretty good, actually. Some models are showing like 89% accuracy for a 3-day forecast.
89%, that's quite high.
It is. And that kind of warning, even a few days, it can make a meaningful difference. It gives vulnerable communities, industries, a bit of a fighting chance to prepare, maybe mitigate some of the worst impacts.
A fighting chance, that's something. Well, as we wrap this deep dive, maybe something for you listening to consider. How might understanding these deep shifts in the ocean, how might that change your view? You know, when you see the daily weather forecast, or maybe even think about where you might travel next, just something to reflect on.